Hello and good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's Career Discovery live stream presentation on careers in welding with the North Dakota Building Trades and the Plumbers and Steamfitters Union Association. My name is Amanda Wajdula, University and Student Development Coordinator, and I will be facilitating today's webinar. Just some housekeeping items. In the menu of the webinar, there is a Q&A function that we encourage all of our attendees to use for the questions or comments that you have about today's webinar. We will ask them throughout the webinar as well as the end, so please put them in the Q&A when you have them. Our two presenters today are Jason Ehlert, who is a familiar face to our Career Discovery presentations. You might remember him from our Apprentice Week in the fall. He is the current president of the North Dakota Building Trades, but has also had experience as a union member and working in the trades himself. And Darren Dahlman is the training director for UA Local 300, which offers apprenticeships in the plumbing, pipe fitting, steam fitters, and the HVAC refrigeration field with training centers in Fargo, Mandan, Minot, and Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Darren himself is a master plumber with 30 years of experience. Welcome.
Hi there. Hello, thank you for having us.
All right, well, it is all you, Jason and Darren.
All right, thank you, Amanda. Thank you guys for everybody here that is tuning in today for our presentation related to welding careers. And we're going to be looking at specific welding careers, but a little bit more that Darren will explain a little bit further in the presentation. Next slide, probably the reason why we're doing this. So like Amanda has talked about earlier, this was in partnership with the Bank of North Dakota. One of the things that we started doing, or is a big push within the Workforce Development Council, and also things in the state of North Dakota, was promoting the careers in the trades. Apprenticeship programs is the primary vehicle, how we train and educate anybody that's coming into the trades, young or old, on how to become pipe fitters, plumbers, steam fitters, that we'll be focusing on here today, HVAC. But this really came out of the genesis of this idea was back in National Apprenticeship Week in November, and we had a lot of great success, a lot of good feedback with that. So we want to do it again, kind of stay insight in mind, all those things talking about apprenticeship programs, the benefits of that. And really, when we're going to talk a little bit more, but there's the four primary components of an apprenticeship program, registered apprenticeship program. As you can see on the screen, it's in real-time career training. It's classroom instruction combined with on-the-job learning, kind of that melding of both worlds coming together. Instead of just always sitting in the classroom learning about something, you're going to sit in the classroom, learn about something, but then you're going to do it out on the job site the very next day. Really gives that opportunity for real learning. How do you apply this on a daily basis? The big thing about the national accreditation, it's all registered with the Department of Labor. Keys on that is that these models are recognized by the Department of Labor across all 50 states in the United States, and then they're jointly managed with employers. So the big team focus on that, and we'll explain a little bit more with that. But ultimately, it's how do you get the most? What are we teaching? Because we don't want to waste any time. So next slide, please. So Amanda did a great job of introducing our wonderful speaker here today, coming to us from Fargo, but he is Darren Dahlman, and you can see from the description, but he is the training director for the United Association of Plumbers and Pipe Fitters, Local 300 here in North Dakota. They have training centers located in Fargo, Mandan, and Minot. And yeah, let's hear a little bit from you, Darren. Give us a little bit about yourself.
Well, right on. Thanks, Jason. My name, as it says on the slide there, Darren Dahlman. I've been the training director for UA Local 300, going on 3 years now. Before that, I was a plumber out in the field, basically from right after graduation from high school. I began my plumbing career through an apprenticeship, and like I say, it's been fantastic. I really couldn't imagine at my younger age just the kind of stuff I've been able to work on and the kind of stuff I've been able to do. It's really one of the trades I think that you definitely get what you put into it. If you're willing to strive and continue to improve yourself, virtually, I think the sky is the limit as far as that goes, especially, you know, with our parent union, the United Association. Basically, they cover roughly 375,000 members right now in the United States and Canada, and we also have some agreements with unions within Ireland and the United Kingdom and Australia as well. So, yeah, just it's been one of those things that, gosh, every time I've been able to accrue a certification, something to advance myself, I try to find the next one. As far as that goes, it's like I say, it really is something where the sky can be the limit for somebody that wants to make a career of it.
Excellent, excellent. Well, with that, we'll go probably into our next slide here, Amanda. And probably one of the biggest things that probably there's a lot of information on this slide, but one of the things that as I'm sitting here, we could probably start with career clusters. And probably my first obvious question, and maybe probably a lot of questions that people are watching this or tuning into this, the career clusters in the United Association. You know, maybe everybody understands what a plumber is because we're all very familiar with a residential plumber, but probably even that steam fitter. You know, what is that? And speak about what steam fitters, pipe fitters, everything that's available. Because I mean, there's also, I mean, not only great careers in welding that are available in the pipe fitters, but you have some other great other stuff that the United Association is associated with.
Oh, definitely. And you know, like I say, the pipe fitter, we'll start with the pipe fitter. You know, what does a pipe fitter do? You know, and quite frankly, you know, the word that's used, pipe fitter, that at its core, that's kind of it. You take a design and or you make a design as you go, and you know, put the stuff together. It can be, you can look at it that simply, but we also get into system, you know, understanding the system that you may be working on, be it steam, hot water, some process piping. It could be a refinery. It could be you know, a nuclear power plant, you know, even, or it could be a residential home that you're just working on their baseboard heat or something of the like. Just tremendously dynamic as far as that goes. So in those career clusters, yeah, we do kind of, you know, you can break down to where you have a lighter commercial type of pipe fitter that may just be doing, you know, hot water and, you know, maybe some light steam, that sort of thing. And as, you know, it almost seems that you have niches, you know, that people like to work within. And, you know, that's kind of one thing. And you can start out as, you know, just doing commercial, but gain an advancement into, you know, starting to do a little bit more on the steam end to where you could get a steam fitter card or go so far as to become qualified to work on nuclear power plants and that sort of thing. You know, it at its core, you're still kind of doing the same thing. You're taking pipes, you're putting them together, making sure you're able to put them together safely. But the piping dramatically changes along with that. It could go from copper or steel to, you know, getting into some exotic metals after that. So it's actually really fantastic. And some of it, you know, with the steam fitters, they're more going to be working on the larger, you know, outside of the commercial, even into the industrial realm of, you know, where we have some very powerful boilers that, you know, have that ability to explode, you know, and create one heck of an explosion. So having an understanding of those processes, how, you know, how that heating plant operates, and the safe ways code-wise, you know, of making sure we have piping redundancies and et cetera. So like I say, it's something you end up evolving into. But in the apprenticeship program, you're able to work, on the job while you're learning with educated individuals that, show you the ropes along with it. And you can connect those dots from, what you might read or have in the classroom to how you apply it in the field. And that right there, I think is one of the best learning methods, and really what brings apprenticeships to the forefront, just to be able to combine those two and to be able to get paid while you're learning. So.
Well, good. And that kind of leads into what we were going to be talking about next is in every registered apprenticeship program, there's going to be a component of classroom instruction hours and then on-the-job training hours. Could you go further into depth in that with your guys' apprenticeship program? For apprentices that go into a program, what are they going to expect into spending time in class, every year, and then how many hours they're going to spend out in the field doing this combined training method?
Sure. Our apprenticeship program is comprised of on-the-job learning and related classroom instruction. And the on-the-job learning, it's a time-based apprenticeship. The total apprenticeship is 9,000 hours. And the amount of related classroom instruction that goes along with that is 1,230. So if you break that down into years, which, theoretically is how we call it. We'll call, a first year, second year, third year apprentice. That ends up being 1,800 on the job hours for 1 year and 246 classroom hours to go along with that. So each year has its own curricula. As far as what we focus on. So it ends up being kind of a layered cake of getting the basics down first, finding, use and carry tools, getting some of your safety stuff out of the way. Second year, you start getting a little bit more color into, how to actually design elements within the work that you do. And then specialization from third year on is essentially how it goes. So it is again time-based, but yeah, that 9,000 hours is what the full program ends up running.
Okay, and so you kind of touched upon it, but then it's really the levels of achievement. You talked about a first-year apprentice, second-year apprentice, third-year apprentice. Probably maybe the two things will kind of combine them both, but what do those levels of achievement look like for an apprentice going through your apprenticeship program? And then also, if an apprentice coming in 18, 19 years of age, what are they looking at for the amount of time that they're going to spend on this program? How long is it going to take them to complete the program?
For sure. For somebody, let's say 19 years old, or 18, 19, typically it's going to be that 5 years if they start out right at first year. Now, we do accept credit for previous work experience. Let's say an individual has some work experience prior to, or maybe they go and get a welding certification, something like that, or they come in, maybe they worked for somebody and thought, well, hey, I want to get something a little bit more defined, for the apprenticeship. When we intake people, we take that stuff into account, and we will grant some, some time for previous experience. But generally speaking, for somebody 18 years old, by the time they're 23, they should be a full journeyman by that point. By following through the program and with the on-the-job training as well. And we do have some steps, that take place during that training. And it looks like we're going to talk about that a little bit later here. But basically what those end up being, you have a bit more responsibilities as you advance, and consequently you make some more money as well. as you go through.
Okay. And then you talked a little bit about the welding certs. Are there any educational partners that you work with or that you partner up with at all that in conjunction, like doing a basic weld test or something like that, that you utilize or anything like that?
Well, in the past, we have utilized, actually for many years, we worked with Bismarck State College. Actually, one of our instructors in our program was the welding instructor for Bismarck State College. So we had a very long-term agreement with them. We're currently in the process right now. We're revamping our program to do all of that stuff in-house. Currently, just increases our latitude for when we're able to train, rather than having to meet another institution's schedule and get everything done 9 months beforehand. Now we're trying to do all that stuff in-house, so we have greater flexibility ultimately, so we can meet the demands of the work as it comes. But as far as that goes, with some of the other colleges that we work with, Southwest Tech, we down in Sioux Falls, we get a lot of folks coming out of there. Yes, Moorhead Tech as well. We've had quite a few individuals from their HVAC and plumbing programs come in, and even some of the private welding schools as well. We've had actually take graduates from those programs and integrate them into ours as well, and also with veterans, too, with individuals that maybe in one of the armed forces, actually utilizing their experience there and bringing them into our program and allowing them to basically skip ahead a little bit, off some of the training that they've had. So again, that's kind of on a case-by-case basis. As we do that, we kind of take the resumes and the information that we get with our applications and through the interview process, and really try to place people, as fair as possible for both parties.
Okay. And then how many apprentices do you have currently in your guys' program right now?
Currently, right now, we've got 65. Later this afternoon, we'll have 68. I've got 3 more that have just entered basically last Friday or yesterday. So, but yeah, right now, current number is 65.
Okay, and probably going to be the biggest point that every student, every educator, every parent is really going to be looking at is what is the financial cost to an apprentice throughout the program? Any initial fees that they got to pay up or anything like that?
Actually, as far as the cost of the training, there is none. Basically, the training that we supply is paid for by the members of Local 300. So we're paying back into basically to train our future as far as that goes. So very wonderful program, to be able to get schooling, get paid, and then also have somebody else carry the burden. So there's about the only way that a person really could end up costing them money is if they start destroying books or equipment, stuff like that. I mean, it's in some cases, I wish we did charge a little bit just to make people think about the stuff a little bit. But no, it's actually very wonderful. That just to be able to share that information. Myself, as I began my career, I was what you would call non-union when I started out, and it just at the time that I got into it, there weren't a lot of opportunities back in the late 80s, early 90s for being able to join an apprenticeship program at a union. They were pretty much full. That being said, as I went through my apprenticeship, I was starved for knowledge. I tell you what, if I could find a book to explain how something worked, and granted, these were days before Google or YouTube, so you couldn't just type it in and boom, there it is. But just that ability to be around the technical aspects and to you know um, have a book, or to have the cadre of other members within the within the local or other apprentices. It's actually a very nice feeling to be able to, hey, I can give this guy a call and he might be able to explain this to me, and that's, I think, the most wonderful thing about the trades, that there is that information sharing, and the education.
Good deal. Good deal. Well, let's go on to the next slide, please, Amanda. And probably which gives us that good segue in terms of the education, the financial costs of if there are interested individuals into looking at an apprenticeship program, because the key to this is that this will all be done in-house. You are working for one of the employers for the Pipe Fitters Association.
Yep.
You are working full time, you're getting paid, you're going to have this education, this hourly breakdown every year. You actually have a job in hand. One of the things that we really like to highlight, or I like to highlight when we're talking about these apprenticeship programs, as students progress through high school, or even if parents or educators or anything like that, career counselors, what courses would you say that would really help prepare a student for a registered apprenticeship program in your guys' the plumbers and pipe fitters?
It's actually not as restrictive as what some may end up thinking. What we do like to see, and what is a big component in all of our trades, is actually the math and sciences are actually pretty huge when it comes to it. The fundamentals of that stuff. Shop classes are always fantastic. But some of one of my best apprentices actually has a music degree from Moorhead State University, and he's becoming a fantastic plumber as far as that goes. So the backgrounds, really aren't as it's not as restrictive as what you would think. What the main quality I think that I would want to find in any applicant is a curiosity and a want for betterment, for themselves, and realizing that you sometimes you have to put some work in to get there, but that I much rather have students that are pulling the reins as far as that goes, and keeping me on my toes to try to keep up with their answers, than having to pull them along, and that's I think that the biggest quality that I look for. Now, if an individual may not be that good at science or that good at math, that's part of our training. We break it down to where I can remember sitting in geometry class in 8th grade, or I can remember being in trig class and writing proofs, and I just couldn't make the connections between how my mind worked and what they wanted to have. But a lot of our curriculum leads you along. It's okay, you've got a piece of pipe here and you've got to turn it 30 degrees and make this offset, and okay, here's how you calculate that out. And really, those connections allow people to visualize it. So it really isn't as, unassuming, or I mean, it's not as big of something that needs to be, even if a person didn't find that math was their strong suit. So It's one of those things. Not everyone that got into pipe fitting was any good at math, but we realized that we had to be. So we've got some fantastic curriculum to try to help that along. So.
I think you hit it spot on. One of the things that I went through an apprenticeship program. I took a small engines course as a freshman, and I knew I was not going to do anything in the trade, so I didn't have to take another course for the rest of my high school career. And yet I got into the trade. So one of those things I always like to say is, yeah, there's good stuff to be prepping you for, but like your example with your best apprentice right now is a music major. You never know what is available in an apprenticeship program, and if you're able to problem solve, that's a lot of times what an apprenticeship program is all about. How do you problem solve? How do you take a look at blueprints? How do you make this all work? And yet, speaking about that math, exactly, is for those students that say, I'm no good at math, I don't understand it, I can't conceptualize it. Well, that's the beauty of an apprenticeship program, is that, yeah, you're going to do some classroom instruction, but the very next day, you're going to be applying this education out on the job site. So it always stuck for me. I went through a bricklayer's apprenticeship program, which was all about angles and bonds and everything else, and using numbers, hitting heights. And I still have trouble figuring that stuff out in my head, but you give me a tape measure and it clicks.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
There are classes, yes, but to any career counselors on there, you never know where that ideal student is going to come from. So
for sure.
Let's go to next slide then, Amanda, and we'll look to let's have any questions. The final thoughts. One of these things that I always like to kind of hear from you guys, from our presenters. What do you think about a registered apprenticeship program? You kind of talked about the benefits for yourself, Darren. I spoke about it too, but maybe some misconceptions. What people should know about an apprenticeship program? What maybe are they getting wrong about an apprenticeship program? More information is the key.
For sure. One thing that I've had, some feedback from applicants, that may have some previous experience, or even, are looking to get into, a trade. Sometimes they're turned off by that classroom aspect, that, geez, I'd do it. I like the work, but man, I don't want to be in the classroom. And it's actually, this is probably one of the things that COVID has brought everything. Is we went quite a while with actually just doing our training online only. So that meant a lot of book work and that sort of thing. And just to trying to take all of the stuff that we had on paper and freshen it up. We've got it. It's so sickening now. You can grab your phone and you can do your homework on your phone if you want. And it's actually kind of crazy that it works that way. But with the way that our schooling ends up working, we do mainly follow the school year, and as far as that goes, September through May. In our Fargo location, just because of numbers and our facility size, we only do one night a week and every other Saturday as far as training in Fargo. The rest of our locations do 2 nights a week, 3 hours a night, and then selected Saturdays through the year. So I mean, really, it's one of those things that takes a little bit of time, but we also do try to keep it lively, keep it pertinent, keep it to where everyone's going to be able to hopefully participate and trying to make the dry stuff a little more interesting. But as far as what people should know about an apprenticeship, well, I tell you what, if an organization is going to forward to you the ability to learn without cost while you get paid, not an internship where you're doing the work for a while and not getting paid, and these are good wages. I mean, I think our minimum that we start out somebody is $18.52 an hour. is our minimum. And different locations and different parts of the trade, end up might be a little bit more, but as far as that goes, you're also building a retirement. You're building an actual career, not just a job. This is hopefully going to be a career that's going to provide for somebody for a lifetime and provide a very good standard of living as well. So I think that's the key to the apprenticeship. That man, it makes sense, and it all comes back to the individuals in that trade that pay for the and are able to provide the training. So I would say go for it. It's fantastic.
Well, good deal. Well, we'll go to the next slide there. And this is just to, if there are more questions from anybody that's on the phone call or on the webinar, you can get a hold of Darren here, with his phone number or his email to get more information, or if you have interested students that are looking to pursue a career in a registered apprenticeship program with the pipe fitters. And with that, do we have any questions, Amanda?
Yeah, we had a couple questions that came through. So one of the questions was that you mentioned that some schools have welding programs, or you have apprentices who come in with previous schooling. Is that required? And the second piece to that is, do you find that students who go through those programs do better in the apprenticeship program, or is it kind of just really student by student?
Excuse me. As far as it ends up going, sometimes when we'll bring somebody in with previous, let's say they are a welder and they have a maybe a degree from a welding school. Sometimes there's a little bit of there's a transition there. With those individuals, they have the idea that, hey, I'm going to weld all day, and this is what I'm going to do. And part of that, being a pipe fitter or a plumber, is you've got to learn, some of the other stuff. You've got to learn the layout, the math, some of the science classes. So there is with those individuals, we do try to take the time and explain that it's not just like a production job. It is actually, there's a tremendous dynamic that you need to know. And some people, quite frankly, are scared of that. But once they're in, they grab it with both arms and really take advantage of it. But like I say, that's one part of the understanding, within the trades, that is a little different. It's not just one process. So, but do they? In some cases, they actually, in some cases, they excel. As far as that goes. Take somebody with some welding certs, and they can be welding right from day one. But we actually end up having, that schooling aspect of it. They kind of have to be drawn into a little bit. But other individuals, it actually works out fantastic, and probably we're a little bit like me, where, oh my gosh, here's information. This is that I can absorb. So it's actually it works really good.
Good to know. So the next question is, what is the work part like? And as far as like the work day, do folks who go into these different trades, do they have set hours? Is it shift work? Is it seasonal? Yes. What can students kind of expect once either they're in the working part of their apprenticeship, or once they become a journeyman, as far as like what the actual work hours
right. And it really depends on which aspect you get into. I don't know if it's ever been quite an 8 to 5, or just 8-hour day type job. There's a little bit more of a commitment level that when the work is there, the work get done, so to speak. But that also depends on how high on the totem pole you're finding yourself, as well. If you're into, a foreman position or something like that, it can be more demanding. There is a seasonal aspect to it as well. With our refrigeration, our HVAC and refrigeration apprentices, you get a hot day in the summer, they're going wide open, just like on a cold day, in the wintertime. They're trying to keep everyone's heat going. And, but it is cyclical, as, building starts up in end of February, March, that sort of thing, we do see, ramping up and, actually bringing apprentices in, at those times to try to meet demand. But that being said, it's, in that course of 30 years of myself being, both a residential and commercial plumber, the amount of times I spent away from home, within that, I think I had to stretch about 2 years of working in Williston. By my choice, I could have worked in town, but I decided, well, I'll try something different and go out there. But it actually, sometimes it's just come in the morning and you know what, we get done at 4:30 and that's it. So shift work, it can be 5/8s, 4/10s, it can be 6/12s, depending on, if you're doing some industrial work or stuff like that. But you're also well paid to kind of take care of that too.
Yep, that is very true. So our final question today is, how would a person sign up? So whether, this is, we have a career counselor listening who is advising their students on careers, or, a 20-something, 30-something-year-old who's looking for a career change. How do they sign up? Do you have sign-up days at, your different training locations, or do they just, send you an email, give you a call? What's that process look like?
Just about anything as far as that goes. Emails are preferred. My phone actually has rang 3 times since we've been on, but emails actually work great. We do have our 4 locations. We do have physical offices there where applications are available during normal business hours, and I can also email an application out. One of my things to do is actually building my website, but that's been kind of on the side burner here for a while. But I am able to email out an application, as far as that goes, or we can drop one in the mail and we can do it that way. So the application process actually very simple. There's 2 things that we need to do. Is we need to make sure that the individual has either a high school diploma or a GED, and the second document is that they are at least 18 years of age. Those are the 2 minimums that we have. If an individual wants to fill out a resume, that's welcome to, but really it's nothing to sweat over. And like I say, we're not to downplay us, we're plumbers and pipe fitters, but we for our needs, with our interview process and everything else, we're able to take that information and actually kind of put a good, get a good feel for the candidate on the information that we end up getting along with the interview. So I don't have anything ready right here, but if somebody wanted to shoot me an email, like I say, I can definitely help fulfill, if somebody wants to get applications or something like that, I can get them taken care of. So
Absolutely. And Dale, your phone number and your email are on there. So if anybody's listening or if you have a student who is interested in one of these programs, go ahead and shoot Dale an email. All right. Well, those are all the questions that we have. So thank you for everyone for joining us today. Jason,
Mm,
Darren, thank you so
yep.
much for lending your expertise on this subject. Our next Career Discovery live stream is going to be next week on Monday, April 12th at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. This presentation will go a little bit longer for 45 minutes just because of the content we have. We'll be talking to human resources professionals who are going to be talking about tips for job seekers, about job interviews, the importance of soft skills, what HR
No.
and hiring managers look for on those applications. So I know you two have both kind of talked a little bit about that, what you look for in applicants. So we'll just, double down on that next week. So of course you can register for these and all Career Discovery webinars on the Career Discovery tab of our Career Compass website, and you can view all previous presentations there as well. So thanks so much everyone, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Thank you for having us.